let's get into this because Jay, the Acolyte, it's been what? 2 months since
Been a
it was
while.
canceled? Over a month since it was canceled. I don't know how long it's officially been. It feels like forever since we got the news that the Acolyte had officially bit the dust, that after the disappointment of season 1, the viewership disaster, and the real budget being revealed, that this thing actually cost over $230 million and counting for just one season, 8 episodes. And Lucasfilm said, no, that's it. We've had enough. Since then, a handful of people that actually did enjoy the Acolyte, they went out there on social media and they demanded that we have more Acolyte. You need to give us more. This isn't fair. Don't listen to those toxic man baby YouTubers. Give us more Acolyte. Their petition got over 80,000 signatures. Unfortunately, considering the viewership that would be required to justify renewing something like the Acolyte, that wasn't near enough. So now there's something else, Jay. This was going around yesterday. There's a new GoFundMe.
Yep. Made a video on it.
There's a new GoFundMe. Now, there might be a little misconception. This is a not GoFundMe to fund the second season of The Acolyte because that required $200 million. Don't think that's going to happen. Instead, this is a fundraiser to get more attention to the cause, to hashtag Save the Acolyte. You can see right here, help fundraise to save the Acolyte. Hi, all. This fundraiser serves to bolster our efforts to save our beloved Star Wars series, The Acolyte. These funds will go towards paid publicity efforts to garner support. The Save/Renew the Acolyte campaign, like, but not limited to, things like a Times Square billboard, trucks with ads parked in front of Lucasfilm offices, etc. Now, before I talk about some personal experience I've had in this before, Jay, what was your first reaction?
So I was reading, like what they were planning on doing. So they want to get an ad in Times Square that cost and I was like, so if they get an ad in Times Square, more people will be drawn to their cause. My first thought was $2,000 for an ad in Times Square seems a little low, honestly. I thought it would cost a lot more, unless New York is really hurting. If that's where we're at, I just thought in Times Square, it would cost a lot more. So what are they going to show it for 30 seconds? Is it a 10-second ad? I don't know.
I don't know. I also don't know if it means hey, up there in Times Square or on a fucking bus station.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, and I'm not gonna
Times Square. Could it just be on someone's television screen that's got a store there that they're selling out stuff? So I think this person believes that it's going to be a big ad on one of the giant skyscrapers, and they'll have their Acolyte saved. Now, what I find funny is, could you imagine if they get this thing funded? As of right now, they're at 1850.
I think it'll fund. It's only been going for 24 hours or something. I think it'll be funded.
I think it would be. Could you imagine if they get this thing, they get an ad out there, and they get a cease and desist from Lucasfilm? You can't use our photos in an ad or anything like that.
Oh God, that would be
and all
crazy.
These beloved fans are like, well, we're trying to help you. They're like, cease and desist, take it down now. That would be hilarious.
Now, listen, here's the thing. I don't think that anything is going to save the Acolyte. I don't think anything is going to justify a season 2. And I think it's kind of a fruitless cause. But I have at least some respect for people putting their money where their mouths are instead of just tweeting, 50 times a day about it or whatever. And in fact, going back 8 years, I've been in this position before. Now, it wasn't for a $250 million failed fucking TV show. It was, in fact, for the expanded universe. After Star Wars decanonized and got rid of the Star Wars expanded universe, we actually fundraised $6,000. I think it was an Indiegogo or a GoFundMe. I don't remember. And put up a couple billboards right outside Lucasfilm headquarters. Okay. And then after the sequels were over, because the official response from Disney was basically, hey, we're not looking to do that right now. We're really focused on the sequel trilogy. And then again in 2020, the same fucking thing. This time it was about $5,000 raised. And it was 2 billboards targeted towards Lucasfilm, right? As they're going to work, these billboards that they can see, asking to, hey, continue the Star Wars expanded universe. There's a little bit of a big difference, though. One, I think that was even very futile at that point. It didn't have much of a chance of succeeding. But two, we're talking about asking for novels and books and things like this, as opposed to $250 million failed shows. Because that's what the Acolyte is, right?
So
it is a multi-$100 million project that was the biggest viewership failure they've ever seen, that they're asking for more. But I don't think that has any chance in hell of succeeding. I actually think that people are now a little bit onto this fake social media stuff. I think a lot of people that have given in to the social media calls have then regretted it later because they realize it's not as big of a group of people as you might think. Take Morbius, for instance. They were gaslit into releasing Morbius for a second time by social media memes, only for it to flop a second time. But, you know,
imagine that meeting with Morbius where it's like, hey, guys, we're trending on Twitter. People want to see it, man. Let's release it again and see what happens. Like, no, you need someone that understands that people are making fun of it. And then you're right. They released it again. Could you go back to the other picture? Did you see someone donated $500?
I see anonymous. Yeah.
If you knew for certain that you would get a season 2, if you had to donate $500, would you be willing to do that? I think I would.
Oh, me? No, I'd never
not
throw my money away like that. No.
Yeah, but I made a lot of money on the Acolyte. So
nah,
if Lucasfilm came to me and said, Jay, if you pay $500, we'll give you a season 2. I'm like, I'd probably be down for it.
Yeah. So at least, listen, I have more respect, even though I think the goal is insane and it's never going to happen. I have more respect for people that are actually willing to go out and do something and put their money where their mouths are, instead of just, look, 80,000 of us strong signed a petition and Lucasfilm still sides with the YouTubers. I think their goal is ridiculous and insane and it's never going to happen. But I at least have more respect for that than I do for this, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But we'll see if it happens. We'll see if in a month or two from now, Jay, there's a big Acolyte ad in the middle of Times Square and people are thinking to themselves, what the fuck is this all about?
That's the thing. Like, I would love to get some boots on the ground just to see how long it stays up. Like, I'm sure they'll let us know on social media that maybe it was just a blip in the wind, just comes and goes like a fart. And then they get a cease and desist from Lucasfilm. That would be the perfect story.
Yeah, they use like a picture of Chimere and Osha or something, and Lucasfilm's like, hey, you don't have the rights to do this. Those are our characters that we're never going to use in anything again. Thank you very much.
They would go crazy. They would go crazy.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been through this. We put up 2 billboards in San Francisco at Lucasfilm 4 years apart, one in 2016, one in 2020. And turns out because
did they even acknowledge it? No, they didn't even acknowledge it. Right?
They did. Pablo Hidalgo mentioned it. He mentioned the billboard that he saw. Yeah, stuff like that. They did acknowledge it, but ultimately they didn't think it was worth doing. And they had no plans to fucking continue the Star Wars EU, in large part because they wanted to let people like Dave Filoni just bend it over and butt fuck it like he does all the dogs in his basement, right? So, that was a goal that probably was never, ever going to be possibly realized. But the big difference is that was, a group of fans that had been buying Star Wars products and Star Wars EU products for years and years and years. We're talking about novels as opposed to multi-$100 million live action television series. So I think something like that probably had a better chance of being successful and letting them know. Whereas this, I mean, say they do get a billboard up there and Lucasfilm's like, oh, look, wow, they took the initiative to get a billboard up. How many people did it take to do this? And they're like, oh, 45 people contributed to a $2,200 project.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be beneficial for us in the long run.
Well, Ryan, I got news for you, because there is another Acolyte 2 GoFundMe that just started. Fund the Acolyte Season 2, looking to raise $180 million. They have one contribution for $10 someone gave a month ago. They're on their way. What?
I mean, that's obviously a troll one, and that's great. You know what would be really funny? If they just raised $180 million, fucking gave it to Disney, and they just pocketed it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, this takes care of season 1. Thanks. We need more money for season 2.
What I'm saying, imagine if this was like, what if they actually raised it? Who do they send the check to? Do they call like Kathleen Kennedy on the phone? Like, hey, we have a check for you. For like, how does that even work? I don't know, man. What if they raised it? They gave it all to Trump. It's like, you're gonna give it to a political party.